going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Carl Bepke.
I'm Mike Stadler.
Oh, Mike. How you been, man?
I've been really good. Really good.
Really good.
Really
huh?
good. Yeah. Been good.
Well, we did a show a little bit ago there about the antlers and genetics and all of that stuff. This is a kind of one of them controversial ones myself.
Good.
Here, the people are thinking. This is actually interesting. Comes from a guy named Jesse from here in southern Wisconsin. It says, hunting does, Mike, on your property.
Yep.
What's your guys' theory on shooting doe? If you can't hunt the food, where do you hunt them? Where is the best place to hunt them during the season, and why? Also, how do you decide how many to take off your property? I have as many as I think we have 40 acres and 15 or 16 different does and fawns on 40 acres. He also asks us, how do we decide which does to take? I'm assuming age group type.
Yeah.
So shooting does, Mike.
Well, a lot of different answers though for some of that.
There is, and yeah. Well, there's a lot of variables. Mm-hmm. So if he's got, it sounds like his is somewhat like yours. At 40 acres, I don't know what's around it.
Right.
You got 40 some acres here, and we know what's around it. And you got pretty good neighbors, right? And mine isn't much bigger, and I've got one neighbor who doesn't shoot does at all.
Yep.
So let's just start with, because the shooting of does can be controversial to people. And it doesn't matter, it's anywhere in the Midwest, and just anywhere in general, I think. So, like you guys always hear us talk about, we are land managers, not quality deer management, although the two are fairly similar and go a little bit hand in hand at times. What's your feeling on your property about does and how many to shoot, when to shoot them, and the size of does that you want to take?
Okay.
Now I know it's a lot.
So, first of all, I start with getting the cameras out there. August-ish.
Yeah, late July.
Late, I like them out by August. We run a lot of mocks, that's one thing. So cameras on the mocks, cameras on the food, really trying to get a count, first of all. You have to have a count of how many are basically staying there, in my opinion, for sure. So once that's established, and say we have 15 doe, like you're saying.
Yep.
If I have 15 doe here, I want to kill some of them.
Yes.
That are here all the time. I don't want that many because that's too many for here. More does doesn't mean more bucks. It's another go ahead and disagree with us. That's fine. We'll talk about it later.
Yep.
I want to have myself, I'm good with like 8, 10 is fine for me here. I've learned.
Adults, medium, or fawns?
Don't care. Mouths.
Mouths to feed.
Mouths to feed.
Yeah, buddy.
I want, I was getting to that part.
Yeah.
So 10 antlerless, let's just say. 10 antlerless deer. Whether that's fawns, adults, younger does, whatever it is. So then I want to determine the ones that have the fawns. Okay, so if I have a good group of, say I have 6 does that have fawns. Okay, now those are the ones in my here that I put off limits.
100%. Yep. Okay.
So I don't want those shot. Those are my breeders.
Yep.
They're here today. They're here to stay,
Yeah.
as Jeff Sturgis says.
Yeah, that's a good.
So those are the ones that I want left.
Yeah.
And Mike. So then we're like, okay, we're gonna go out, and it's gonna be Carl, myself, and Phil.
Yep.
So 3 people that hunt here. We're gonna take whatever it is, 4 or 5 does. We want them out of here, and we're shooting the lones.
Yep.
Or the fawns are on.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Doe fawn.
Doe fawn.
It's about the feed.
Make sure we do not shoot a nubby fawn.
Right.
We don't want to do that. You know, so if you can't tell, we don't shoot it here or at your house.
Yep, either way.
So that's the ones we try to take, and I want them done early.
Yeah.
I want them done in the first couple of weeks of season.
Yep.
That's what I want done.
Yep.
And because I want to let it sit, because you're going to get more that are going to move in.
100%.
They're just going to happen. So you got to try to take them out early.
Where are you going to hunt them?
I am not hunting them anywhere I'm going to be hunting during the rut.
Yep.
We set up spots to kill doe.
Correct.
100% to kill doe.
Yep.
We have food that we hunt to take our does out, and that's what it mostly is. Now, I'm not saying you can't hunt it and kill bucks out of it,
Right.
but 90% of the time, it's where the does are.
We also have food that we don't hunt,
Yes.
just so everybody's aware of that. So that's an important point. Here at Mike's, he's got a great food plot where he shoots a lot of bucks in that transition from bed to food, or right on the edge of this particular plot, just because it's a big staging area before the destination food. That does not get hunted until the right time of year. Oh, poor Archer.
I saw a car.
Yeah, I know. Cars out there barking at him. Till the right time of year, basically. I mean, I'll let you tell people that. I mean, it's your property.
Yeah, it's so like we're saying, we have specific food to hunt does.
Yeah.
So, you know, we used to do a lot of clover plots. We still do have some clover plots.
Yeah.
I have a specific brassica plot here that we put in just to kill does, and there's always does in it.
Yep.
So that's where we're going to kill them, or we're going to kill them, try to kill them more on the east side of my property, because the west side is typically, now this year we did kill a big buck on the east side.
Yeah.
But typically is where we harvest the majority of our bucks, is from the middle of my property to the west.
Yep. 100%.
So we try to stay out of that. I don't want a doe killed that's going to run into the bedding there.
100%.
I don't want it. It's going to happen no matter how good of a shot you make.
Yeah.
So we try to manage that as good as we can. I'd rather kill it in the plot, have it run out and die in the corn.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, or to the east side of my woods, it runs down into the bottom of the ridge and falls over.
Right.
Whatever that is, we try to be minimally invasive,
That's a very good point.
you know, and early and then out.
Right.
And we try to do it in a big number.
We do.
We did it a couple years ago at your house.
Yep.
Stacked a bunch of them up one night,
Yep.
out.
3 out one night.
Yeah, we try to do that here.
We'd have shot 4, except we weren't sure if we wanted to shoot the other one.
I just didn't shoot another one because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So, but
So-
that's what I do here.
Yeah, and my property isn't much different. It's a little bit bigger, but same type of deal. We assess the does. Obviously, there's going to be mature does. There's going to be, to us, a mature doe starts at 2.5 and older. And the 1.5-year-old does, obviously good breeders also, but weak mothers.
Yeah.
So a 2.5-year-old doe has a year under, a year and a half, 2 years under her belt. She's going to be a better mother than a 1.5-year-old doe. Okay? And then you have doe fawns. Doe fawns, always on the docket to be shot. Okay? 1.5-year-old does, pretty much on my property, on the docket to be shot. 2.5 and older, those are the does that are breeders, like Mike stated earlier. Those are the ones we kind of want to save. And as they get older, we want to save them. And then you've got what we call dry does. If you get, like Mike called them singles, where it's an older adult doe, the big gray doe you see, who's kind of just thumping people around in the food plot.
And you'll see them with the breeders a lot of times. They're behind.
They're the matriarch.
Yep.
Yeah. They're like the big buck in a group, but they're a doe.
Right.
Yeah. And they'll be the last ones out in the field, and the most observant, the ones that walk by, pick you out in the tree stand, you didn't
The
move or
blowers.
breathe. Yeah, the blowers. Oh, we got a blower here.
She
but,
blows, she goes.
yeah, you got a shooter. Those are the ones that we shoot. So the blowers, the major adults are number 1 on the docket. The doe fawns are number 1 on the docket. You know, either one of those is a prime example. The ones in the middle are the ones we usually let go. The other part of it is at my place, like I said, the neighbor to the west doesn't believe in shooting does, so we do still kind of have a doe problem. Last year was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
And we will continue to work on that part of things, but
Yep.
we took a lot of food out.
Yep.
This year we're gonna we got another plan. You guys can watch on Small Property Layouts. You see what we're gonna do here, coming up here shortly, but that'll air on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. if you guys wanna watch all the projects that we're doing on our properties. But we're gonna change a couple things up at my place food-wise. And you'll probably see us shoot a few more does this year.
You know, and people are gonna say, oh, you're gonna shoot fawns?
Oh,
yes. And because if you're shooting them for what you're asking, you're trying to control numbers on your land, then you got to shoot fawns. It just is what it is.
Yep.
You know, they're a mouth to feed, as Carl always says. It's a mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Whether it's a fawn or an older doe, they're eating food.
Yeah.
So if you want a number, it just has to be what it has to be.
Right.
You know?
And there is always a sustainable number on your property.
Yep.
You know, and you know, like Mike might have alluded to it a little earlier, and I might have missed it, but you have what I call random does that come on and off your property also. They're bedding on the neighbors and they come over, and vice versa. You know, the kind of edgers. You kind of do have to take those into consideration, but the easiest way is to take your core doe group, and you can tell, like, you know, last year I had 6 does, 6 antler that were does in one core group.
Yep.
You know, that had to change.
Yep.
So that type of deal, you definitely want to take out certain doe groups that stay in certain areas too, if you can do that. Another thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, open it up for the other deer.
Right. Plus the meat is good no matter what.
That is a
You
fact.
know. The other aspect of does on the property is they're not all going to be good breeders buck-wise. So, you know, some of them are aggressive towards the bucks too.
Yeah.
You'll see that early. If you have an aggressive adult, so the old gray does, the big ones, I watched them thump the shit out of a buck.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if I get a chance to kill her, I will.
Yeah, and they run other does off as well.
Yeah, they'll take,
Especially off food.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know,
bad thing.
They get really aggressive towards the food.
Yeah, you're going to see most aggression for does is obviously early spring, when they're fawning. You know, that's what I mean by that. It's all about the food and all about the best fawning locations.
Yep.
That's what that is, and that's when you see the does most aggressive. A little bit early fall, you know, late August, early September, you'll see aggression there, but that's again for food. So that helps you decide who you're taking out, who you're not taking out. So, I mean, that pretty much covers the doe deal, don't you think?
Yep.
I mean, I appreciate the question, obviously, Jesse.
Good question.
Yeah, you know, with your 40 acres, you know, you're going to have to distinguish your doe herds and decide who or whatever does you want to take off the property, and don't be afraid, and I don't care what anybody says to you about shooting a doe fawn.
Yep.
You know, they eat good, and they're a mouth to feed, and it's a firm thing that we believe in is you have to have only a certain amount of mouths on your property, otherwise they're going to eat all your food before the best buck time comes around. And if you don't have any food, you don't have any does, and if you don't have any does, you don't have any bucks. So take them out early.
Correct, sir.
Right on. So, other than that, I think we're good, right?
You're good.
All right. If you guys want to listen to just the podcast, you can check us out on any of our outlets, any podcast outlet that's out there. We're on all of them. If you guys want to check out Blue Collar Bucks is all about all of us regular hunters out there doing our thing and showing what we really do, being proud of the trophies or the animals that we take.
Hoping I wouldn't see.
Get on there on the Facebook machine.
Check it out. That's growing rapidly. We appreciate all you guys who've come already and everybody who's spreading the word for us.
Yep.
So,
yeah, buddy.
yeah, buddy.